Here we are again for another weekly meeting of the Healing Cooperative on Zoom. And I'm excited to have Bill G as our speaker of the week. And he's going to be talking to us about releasing the cords of attachment. And Bill, you have the floor.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Susan. It's my pleasure to be here. And I'm very, very excited to give you just a very, very brief overview of what I do and then provide you with a demonstration. Thought I would just give a group clearing, just do a little bit of research with the charts so that way you get a feel of what I do. What I do is very technical. I'll be the first to admit that because what I'm doing is I'm tapping into the Akashic record. And for those people who don't know what the Akashic record is, it's your soul record. It is everything that is about you is in this celestial repository. I like to think of it as a ginormous library in the middle of the astral sea, and it's got and your high self has the keys to the library, and your high self is the highest aspect of yourself that is connected to all of your lifetimes and has that 30,000-foot view of who you are and how you've been throughout all of your lifetimes. And the goal here is that we go into the library, we find those things which are causing you agita, that are causing you to be stuck in your life. We discover them, we bring them into the conscious mind, and then we clear it. We tell high self, this is no longer an issue. So that way we can go and live our best lives without being burdened with the attachments and the programs and the soul contracts and all of those things that just prevent us from living our best life. So um, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen so that way you can see my desktop here. And so here I have some notes I'm going to be taking. These are my spiritual response therapy charts. Spiritual response therapy was founded by Robert Detzler, and that was back in the late 80s, early 90s. It's a series of 36 charts that has all sorts of things in here regarding your Akashic record. I also have a number of other charts that I use. I have a set of charts that my wife and I developed called the Time Temple charts. And the Time Temple charts is all about changing your timeline, to figuring out where you are in your timeline, where are your distortions, and what's the best path forward for you. So this is my pendulum. Her name is Nefrit, and I got her from the Dominarians in northern Italy, and it's simply a magnet uh, with copper cording on there in a spiral, and it's designed specifically to do this type of clearing work. It's not, it's not SRT related because I use a smattering of different things, and I constantly research and constantly growing the different tools in my toolbox, all surrounding this Akashic thing. So the first thing we do every time before we do a clearing session is we do what we call a prep to work. And a prep to work is simply making sure that all of us are on the same page, that we're all connected to high self, and that we are working with the highest aspect of the high self, so that way we can gain access to the Akashic records. And so we ask us to connect us to high self, and that's right here on the chart. So we connect to the high self, and we make sure that we are operating at the new paradigm above radiant love. And it's just a matter of just making sure that we're operating at the highest possible vibration. And that generally doesn't take a whole lot of time. Is the entire group of the Healing Cooperative present today, ready to go? Yes, and the up and down is my yes indicator. My side to side is my no indicator. So some people have different yes and no indicators. That's how I read yes and no with the pendulum. And the just a quick word on how the pendulum actually works is that my I'm not actually moving it. I'm working with the subtle muscle movements of my arm, the unconscious muscle movements of the arm, and that's what is causing the swing of the pendulum. So I don't have any conscious control, and I'm going into this today completely blind. I have no idea what charts are going to come up. I have no idea what we're going to be exploring and what we're going to be clearing today. So that's part of the fun of doing a session. A lot of times I'll ask clients to come to me with a specific issue or problem that they want to work on, and then we'll direct it that way. But even then, I have no idea which charts we're going to go to. If we're going to be going the SRT charts, we're going to go to time tempo charts. It doesn't matter. We're going to go wherever high self is going to guide us to give us the best answer possible. Okay, so we're going to begin with the group. And I found the conversation that we had about power play and connecting with food very interesting, because a lot of, and as I was hearing everybody talking, it triggered a few memories of my own too, growing up and letting that all play out, because we're talking about attachments today, releasing attachments, and family is an attachment. It's a huge attachment. We all have soul contracts and things going with our family. So is that something we're going to explore today? No, it's not. Okay, we're not going to be exploring that today. So instead, we're going to talk about something else. Again, whatever the pendulum goes, that's where I go. Okay, so are we going to do a general clearing today? Are we going to focus on anyone in particular? Is it okay if I point somebody out today that we're going to be working on today? Yes? Everybody okay with that? Okay, so who are we working on today? We're actually going to be working on Liana today. Is that okay? Is that do we have permission for you? No? You don't want to be worked on today? No? Okay. All right, we'll move on. Someone else to work on today. Yes. Susan, we're going to work on Susan today. Okay. All righty, Susan. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to be asking, are we going to be focusing on the relationship with the son? Because that I got a ding when we were talking about that, and that's what we're going to be talking about. What's your son's first name?
His
Okay.
name is Ruben.
Reuben.
Reubebe.
REU.
Yeah, Reubben.
Reuben. All right. We're going to focus on Reuben today. Okay. And the relationship with there. So we're going to be asking here, are we talking about a program or contract? Are we talking about standard SRT? We're going to use a standard SRT protocol. Or are we going to go somewhere else? We're going to be going programs and contracts. So we got a program or a contract going on here. We have a soul program going on. So we have a soul program. A soul program is a series. What we're going to do is we're going to pull a series of charts, and it's going to tell us how many charts, and that's going to tell us a story. And that's going to be the soul story. It's like we're going into the archive and we're pulling out a file, and we're going to read that file, and then we're going to see what it says, and then we're going to clear it. So the first thing I'm going to ask, I'm just going to go to a number chart here and ask how many charts do we need to go to? And it's going to go to 3 charts. Okay. And so the first chart, so we go back to our chart 1 here and we find out which charts we're going to go to. So the first chart we're going to go to is chart 22, which is called the New One Universe. Okay. Normally I'd be typing this out, but I wanted you to see my process here. Okay, so the next chart we're going to be going to is we're going to be going to chart 4, and that is our what they have here is programs, when, and cast of characters. I just call this past or present life influences. Past or present life influences. And then the third chart we're going to go to is, show me. We're going to go to chart 3, which is rather interesting because that's levels of soul consciousness.
Now, have you created these charts, Bill?
No, these charts were created by Robert Detzler. These charts were created by Robert Detzler. My charts, these are my charts. These are, and these are rather neat because they move. So these are the time temple charts. These are to influence timelines. But right now we're talking about a relationship and a soul program attached to that relationship, which we're going to clear today.
Earlier, you made mention of something called SRT. What is that?
Yeah, that's what this is, spiritual response therapy, SRT.
Okay.
These are the SRT charts, written and developed by Robert Detzler. All right, so first we're going to go to chart 22. That's the new, that's this one here. So with chart 22, where are we going? Awareness that love is the only energy. Okay. And then we go to the past or present life influences, which is on chart 4. Oops. Where's my 4? Here's my chart 4. All right. Chart 4, show me. First, we're going to a program. It's a organ language program. Originated by a son, which is obvious, fairly straightforward there. And it was established in the womb. Okay. An organ language program is energy that is stored up in the organs, like liver is associated with anger, kidneys is associated with sadness, and so there's and so it kind of goes along with the Chinese model of where emotions are stored in the organs and causes dysfunction in the organs as a result. But it's related to a son and is also established in the womb. So this is a program that was established while he was still in utero. So, and then we have levels of soul consciousness. Now, this is a complicated chart here because chart 3 is pretty much the basis of how spiritual response therapy works, in the sense that shows the chronology, basically, or the evolution of a soul. Souls are evolved up on this level. Then, as they are part of God, they're part of the whole, of source. And then as the source entity wanted to learn more about itself, it split up into millions of different little pieces. And it did this at different levels, the Godhead level, the I am level, the God level, and at each of those levels, and the soul splitting up into smaller and smaller pieces, they were given specific instructions on what to experience in the incarnational cycle. Down here, we have the incarnational cycle. So we're moving down, and then once we've incarnated, then our job is to do an about face and work our way back up in soul consciousness. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to relieve ourselves of the karma and the lessons that we have been programmed to learn and experience, so we can turn around and come back and have come back on that journey to eventually be a part of source once again, because so that way source can truly understand itself from an outsider's perspective. And then once we get back to source, then we are taking a walk through the Garden of Eden and learning each of those lessons as we go along, and relieving again karma as we go, until we're finally back to the new paradigm above radiant love. So that way we are fully actualized at this point. Our high selves are already at this point. So it's a matter of trying to get back to that actualized self. So when it comes up in a reading like this, what we're trying to do here is determine where on the soul consciousness level are we stuck. Okay, so is it on page 1 or page 2? It's on page 1, so show me. So I'm being directed over here. And so we have here the ascended master level. So who is the master? The sun is the master here. So the sun's high self is the ascended master. And so the sun is the teacher in this particular instance. So now we have all three charts. Now we ask high self to give us a little bit more information. So we look at this and we try and we look for the pattern. And the pattern here is that awareness that love is the only energy. We got organ language, and the sun is the teacher, the ascended master trying to teach. So what we're looking at here is that the sun is trying to teach slash demonstrate um, pure love and trust. Um, but there's discord in uh, organ systems, and we don't need to go into detail which one, systems resulting from programs what kind of programs are we talking about? Yeah, these are imprint programs, imprints from mother to son in the womb. Okay. And so the solution to this particular problem is the recognition that the sun here is trying to teach us something. It's a reflection of yourself, and it's a reflection of your higher being here, trying to get to that next level, to understand that love is the only way to get past the whatever drama is associated with the relationship. And he's struggling with this, you are struggling with this. And so this is a program that both of you agreed to get involved with prior to your incarnation. You both had a contract with each other, agreement that when we get into this lifetime, this is what we're going to be dealing with. So this is what we're going. So what we want to do now is we want to clear this out. And we clear this by asking high self to say, all right, this is a situation where communication is becoming strained because I'm having a problem getting to the point where accepting him as my teacher, and he is having a problem and he is having a problem reaching me because I've got this barrier up that that's preventing me from seeing. So we're going to ask Spirit to now clear this on all levels, all lifetimes simultaneously. And Spirit will give us me an indication when we're done. And then the work is complete. Now we're going to ask, are there other programs and contracts that we need to go to? And the answer is yes, but obviously we don't have time to do more. So this is just a brief demonstration. But so what we're going to ask Spirit to do is hold a place here. And knowing that we've hit the first layer of a very large onion, where we can go deeper and deeper to explore this relationship, to heal any wounds, to heal any psychic wounds or anything else that happens to be there. And so just to solidify that, I'm going to go to what I call a checklist chart, which is our final chart, to do what we call a mop up. And a mop up is just simply saying to the universe, okay, we're gonna put a placeholder on this. We're gonna stick a pin in this, and we'll get back to this at a later time. And so what came up in chart 32 on the mop up is ideas in the consciousness of spirit. So what that is basically saying is that this idea of this program or these other programs we want to hear is a part of the consciousness of spirit between you and your son and the larger picture of what we're going to be working with here. And so we're going to clear that and make sure that this particular program, this low hanging fruit, like I like to say to people, this is the low hanging fruit. This low hanging fruit has been taken care of and is not going to be an issue again. And now what you're going to want to look out for in the days to come is just subtle differences in the way that you talk to each other, or the way that you feel when he talks to you. And it's amazing that you're going to see some differences. I mean, there could be extremely subtle, and that's what you're looking for. You're looking for subtle changes. And whenever you feel this drama coming up again, you're going to say to yourself, but we cleared that. We've this has now been removed from the Akashic record. We've pulled the file out, we've examined it, we've thrown it into the holy fire. It is burned, it is gone, it is not coming back. Okay.
Wow, fascinating stuff.
Yes, and so that, in a nutshell, that's what I do. And I do that for all of my clients. And sometimes we start with things like family members, struggling with family, or struggling with career, or it runs the gamut of all kinds of things that people come to me with. I had one client that I'm working with right now, and he came to me and he was like, my problem is I go under hypnosis and I don't see anything. I only see the backs of my eyelids. And then I'm like, I want to have a more authentic, esoteric experience. I want to see stuff. I'm like, okay, well, first of all, you may not ever, because some people just don't see anything. And that's okay. But what we've been working on, though, is we're allowing him to see more. And now he's not seeing just when his eyes are closed. He's seeing the magic everywhere, because we're all deliberate creators. We all create our own reality. And so he's having a wonderful experience as a result here. And he's like, wow, I didn't realize that because what he was looking for was some magical guru apparition in his mind to come and tell him the answers. And then and through the work, we've realized that he is the guru. He is the teacher. He is the creator of his own reality. And he's seeing, and his whole life's turning around now. He decided to, he's now becoming a self-help speaker, and he's being and these are things that he would have never dreamed of doing before, because, he was afraid. And now he's not afraid anymore, which is great. And that's part of it, letting go of this attachment stuff too. And I had another client recently, a young woman who was having trouble with, she actually attempted to kill herself. And her mother was a client of mine. And so I was working with her, and we were using the time temple charts, and we were like, okay, well, universe has a plan for you. And actually, I know you're pretty lost right now, but this is the plan. We have a plan for you, and this is what it is. This is what you got to do to get it. And now she went back to school, and she's going for it, and she couldn't be happier. And it's like, cool. And I didn't do anything. I am simply the facilitator, because all the healing comes from within.
Well, it's fascinating stuff, and I have to tell you that that background of yours, it kind of looks like you're sitting in a room with the Akashic records behind you.
Oh, yeah. Never even thought about that.
Yes,
That's
yes,
cool.
it really does, it really does, wow. Well, you know what? I'm gonna stop the recording here then if you're done,
I
and
am. Yeah, thank you.
move to, some questions, so thank.
Oh, yeah, I actually just
Yep,
real quick here, anyone who is here today or listening to the recording, just mention that you have saw the recording and you would like to book a session with me. Anyone seeing the recording, whatever, gets $20 off their first session.
that's very generous of you, thank you so much. So Friends of the Healing Cooperative are gonna get a nice deal on
Absolutely.
now. All right, I'm gonna stop the recording, and then we can go into some more personal questions.